G'day, I'm Murray, this is my backyard, and it's time for the monthly walkthrough. The tobacco's definitely gotten taller in the last few months. That's 5 foot. And the fruit fell off, the smaller fruit that was lower down. And yeah, they ripened perfectly, so that was a bit of a surprise. The wallabies have eaten some of these pawpaws over there, and they ate one of these jicamas. I thought that might be a risk, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm probably going to remove that cage and use it in the veg patch. The black cherry got mauled, and I'm going to look at putting a semicircular protective ring around it. This won't be an issue when we get good rain. These pawpaws got eaten too, so it was a very hungry wallaby. Yep, I removed the tomato I didn't like, the tomato berry. More work to do out here. Normally I make a point of cleaning up the dead leaves before I shoot, but I've been a bit busy. So the pawpaws are doing well. I haven't given much fruit this week, but by heaven they've been heavy croppers. I've still got calamondins whenever I want them. And this guy's looking good. Let's see. Got to remove one of those, at least one of those. Oh, a couple of flowers up top. Pigeon pea is pretty mighty. I should harvest those and do something with them. Okay, I had some spare soil, topsoil, so I threw down some organic fertiliser and I chucked the extra topsoil I had in here. I needed to use the ute for something, and there was topsoil in it, and I thought, right, I'll just stitch it. So that's our lap so far. Everything's going fairly well out here, considering this is primarily a banana bed with other stuff I can stick into it. These are my pyrethrum daisies. There's another couple in back, and I hope to make my own bug spray. I said I was going to add topsoil to this bed. I've done two main segments in here and over here. The rest of it hasn't been touched yet. And oh, I've got some cardoon seeds, so that's going to be an interesting experience. And in the process of doing this though, I put a hole in it somewhere around here which sprays water that way, which would be lovely for the sugarcane, but is a bit of a waste of water for me. I don't know how to patch these soft hoses, or if it's even possible. I doubt it's possible to cut and join them. There may be something I can do with glue and an inner sleeve or something. I think she's been eating spiders again. She's got an open beak. Collecting for the chicks. Okay, enough distractions. I cut a heap of grass for a project that you will see shortly, and I had some spare, so I've just used it as hay here. I like to do something nice for the bananas at least once a month, so that they know they're not forgotten. And I'm actually going to cut some more of that for them, because I hope I could put a bit more back there. It's going to be a while before the veg patch starts to produce lots of mulch. The radish are doing quite well up the side here. I lost one, I think it was to cutworm. I can't put protectors around all of these plants because I don't have enough protectors and they get too fat. The tubers, roots. So hopefully this is going to work, and I'll be able to sequentially grow huge radish up here for fertilizer. Okay, it's become obvious that I've tipped some of these and not the others. The tipped ones are forking. This is Mexican sunflower, which is a mulch plant. The tipped ones are looking a bit bushier. Untipped, tipped, untipped, little tipped. And I've decided to do an experiment by just watering to here and not water those four. It might be academic because we should be getting some rain fairly soon. Yes, she's keen. Okay. I have a new plan for up the back here. I'm thinking, since I have to re-fence the veg patch anyway, the old veg patch, I may as well whack a wooden post in out here and extend the growing area somewhere across here. And yes, I know it's pretty steep up here, but that would enable me to put a mulch pit behind it for the eventual blue Java bed that's going to run along the ridge here. And it will enable me to protect my abaca plants, which is the whole back row here, plant them out here and protect them from the wallabies. Because when it gets dry, the wallabies eat anything. We'll talk about that down on the ground. I've come up with a new bale aging technique. This is just a brand new bale, and so is this. This is a bale with 4 plugs of soil, about 40 millimeters wide, all the way through it down to the ground, and also layered organic fertilizer in there. This one doesn't have the fertilizer, but it's got 4 plugs of soil through it. I've already planted zucchini seeds in here. I know I've grown zucchini outside the veg patch before and it didn't get eaten, but I'm probably going to have to put a star picket down the middle there, hammer it into the ground, because it could get windy and I don't want it blowing over. I'm thinking 6 watermelons per bale over here for these 2. These were the speedy non-organic bales, and I've left 4 butternut pumpkins in each of the other 2 bales. So if I can just remember to train them down that way, if they'll play ball with me, then it should all be fine. Again, I've grown both of these outdoors, outside of fenced areas, and they haven't been eaten in the past. Okay, I still haven't redone the steps. I've got a jump start on my mulch bed. I cut a heap of hay, whippersnipped it, chucked it in the ute, drove it up, put it out here mainly on cardboard. There's a strip on the left that's not cardboard. Then under here there's cardboard. I used some corrugated and some tent pegs to stop it falling down. And this is where I'm going to put the bananas in. Red Dakar, dwarf Red Dakar bananas. I can fit 4 of those, and I'll probably put the dwarf Ducassi in at the end there, because it'll work, it'll fit. So the idea is plant the banana suckers in here, mulch over the top with real mulch, not with this stuff. This is a foot thick in some places and might be prone to attracting snakes to sleep in the cool. Seed potatoes, and that's an odd one. Right, I do have a bit of mulch at the moment, apart from the stuff that's laid out for the magpies. Okay, since I'm here, these are black turmeric, 4 black turmeric plants, and they could be dormant for a while yet. And I thought, what if I put in some daikon radish around them? And that way, whenever it interferes, if the canopy interferes with the turmeric when it comes up, I'll just cut down the radish, leave the root to rot. However, I've had a bit of a problem with cutworm in here. They've really gone to town. Here's one. Still green, but it's been eaten, bitten off. Jalapeno's doing well. Lord knows about the carrots. This was a silly place to put the winged beans. They are tender, they are delicate, and well, I was going to say they will get eaten, but it looks like something's had a couple of leaves off that already. I'm tempted just to give up on that one and see how it goes. Lebanese cucumbers, on the other hand, these should be unpalatable and rough with any luck. And I whacked in a row of peanuts in behind there. The cosmos, ooh, this one's going to start to flower too. This is my second oldest patch of cosmos. We started over by the oldest patch of cosmos. I had a problem with the sunflower seeds. We will come back to that later. Okay, the veg patch. I took out the giant lion's tail plant from up the front here. It was obviously a bit of a saga, but if you've got the right tool for the job, in this case it was a polar bear from Canada, you can get rid of almost anything. It was taking up too much room and would have been taking up too much water. Okay, the calendulas have started flowering and probably won't stop until late autumn. I put some peanuts in here for now, because I may as well get them started. What's new up here? Oh, I have to remove dandelion flowers pretty much every day. They go with the chook scratch. I took them off yesterday, so I don't know how that's got missed. But yeah, pretty much every day I'll grab some herbs and plants for the chooks, and dandelions high on the list because of calcium. That's starting to look good after it got a bit scraggly over winter, the Okinawa spinach. I should eat more of that. The lamb's ears are pretty, but the only use I've got for them is chook food. Not that that's not a noble purpose. These plants benefit from regular deadheading, and it's a bit tricky to deadhead this one because it seems to swarm with meat ants in the afternoons, which is my main gardening time. But it's actually clear at the moment. Just the odd bee about. I finally got to do some weeding back here and finish it off without magpie interference. So, yeah, I can kind of see a use for that extra area there. This could be a bit steep and precipitous, but oh well, I'll work something out. Even if it's just run vines over it. The leeks are doing well. They haven't started to throw many suckers yet. These are perennial leeks, not normal leeks. There's one over there that started to throw suckers, and I will show that to you shortly. The tomatoes here, they have produced, but they're not very happy, which is a shame. I don't know. I've had nematode problems in here before. This is one of the Treasure Island sweet potatoes, this light green one, which are decorative, considered decorative sweet potatoes that also produce tubers. I like the colour. It is unusual to have a bright green in the garden. I haven't had any tubers off it yet, but we'll see how it goes. This is the normal sweet potato, probably a Beauregard that I've been using for cuttings to plant elsewhere. Okay, here we go. We've got one extra coming here, which when this leaf falls off and rots, will presumably be able to be independently removed. And there's a second just here. So in cold climates, these have a bulb, and it breaks up into hundreds of pea-sized plantlets that you can plant, and these will grow from those. But it's too warm here and they throw suckers. Did a bit of tidying up in here. I've been trying to get to this bed to tidy it up. I think I've pruned that since last month, the basil. It's grown on me, that. It's got a bit of an aniseedy flavour to it. Okay, we normally cut down to the front. Calendula just makes me feel cheerful. It takes a bit of deadheading at times, but it's worth it. This one, Flammy, has been a regular producer, as in a handful of tomatoes a day coming off. It's very prolific. You don't need many of them. The Rouge is still my primary taste tomato, but as a backup, just something that produces lots of tomatoes, this is pretty good. Since I started to let it go nuts and twine it around in there and not remove any shoots. I've got a couple of spares that I've started up, but I might only plant out one of them. These have been a bit of a problem. Been marking the fruit. Okay, oh yes, we'll come around to that. Let's see, I think the turmeric was in last time, and I decided to let these go for seed so that I would have, this will be eating seed, as in sprout the peas and eat them in salads. The barely sprouted seeds. Yeah, I haven't had the time to take the flowers off the Thai basil. I like the splash of purple in here though. The whole onions haven't died, so that's something. I did finally get around to taking the flowers off the stevia. I've got a problem growing too much society garlic. Speaking of problems, I'm positive these tomatoes are suffering from nematode issues. They're still producing fruit, but they're not as happy as they should be. And the fruit is quite small, which is fine. I'm taking steps to experiment with the nematodes, but yeah, the second crop is coming up, which is part of the plan. And yeah, I haven't really been managing nematodes very well. Okay, well that's one of the 3 pyrethrums, and here's the other one. Last year they didn't flower very much because they were quite small. What I do is I'll cut these off, tie them together with string and hang them upside down, and then just keep adding to the pile. So no turmeric up. I think the last surviving winged beans up the back there on the trellis just here died. So I've got a free trellis, and I might do something with that. Something else, because I do have quite a few winged beans in and up. Purple sweet potatoes going well, the Molokai purple. Here's a better view of the mulch. I made the mistake of parking the ute in between these beds, and while it fits, it's very hard to get around in there, and next time I'll park on the other side and jump over the garden bed or something like that. But I'm not going to need an awful lot more of this stuff. I've got a lot more of it available, provided I've got the inclination to whippersnip it. But yeah, it's a good interim mulch. I've done this before. Right, the winged beans, and this is the arrowroot, the West Indian arrowroot, not the Queensland arrowroot, coming back after a bit of a layoff. I was asked by someone why my bananas bunches were so good and why I had so many bunches, and I said, but this one isn't very good. Some of them are good, but this one isn't. And she said that is fantastic and she'd love to have a bunch that big at her place. So because of that, I should do a video about how I've treated these bananas. It's not fantastic soil. I do, as I say, I do try and take care of them, but I've left too many suckers, which is one of the reasons why I'm getting so many bunches. Probably twice as many bunches as I should get. Yeah, again, that blue Java isn't huge. That one's bigger, but the one on the end is pretty good. Right, winged beans are up. Should be plenty for seeds. They'll have 4 crops a year, considering how early I got them in. I put in some tomatoes here, and I've weaved them up these trellises before. These are Grandma's throwing, because I had already bought the seeds and I wanted to try them. Can't really see that. That's fine. A tomato that's described as great for throwing. Okay, that sounds like fun. We've got 2 more winged beans up the back there. Because the Lebanese cucumbers were well away out the front, I put some more in here, and one bunch haven't come up. I plant 2 seeds per throw and remove 1 plant if they both come up. Okay. Well, it's not pretty because of the mulch pit, but it's handy. Those are the roots from the lion's tail. Okay, coming over here, I look like I've compounded my issues. That looks like it's a winged bean, and I do vaguely remember doing that. That could be a weed. I planted some echinacea seeds in there, and I've not grown echinacea before, but I don't think it looks like that. These are capsicums, so they look just fine. This I used in my potato harvest over there. I'm keeping it around because in another week I'm going to have to harvest more potatoes. Right. The sweet potatoes are doing pretty well. I did see a video about varieties of sweet potato where someone said, I really don't like the ones that you have to hunt for because you have to dig up your whole yard to try and find the sweet potatoes. Yep, I understand that. That's the Hawaiian purple at the back there. The Beauregard at the front, or the very likely Beauregard at the front, they tend to have their fruit clustered right around the base. So those are perfect to trellis as well, whereas the Hawaiian purple isn't. So I'm going to go with the Beauregard and probably the Molokai purple as my main potatoes, sweet potatoes. Well, the monster is flowering, the daikon radish. Ooh, right, I thought it was setting seeds, but the little leaves. These are actually pretty good at attracting pollinators. It might just be a bit warm for the pollinators to be coming around. I have removed some that had started flowering, and what I've been doing is I've been chopping the tops off in bits before I take the whole top off for the chooks. The chooks love radish tops. They're full of nutrients. Obviously I can eat them too, but we've got a bit of a pest problem in here. On the underside of the leaves, and it's incredibly difficult to spray the underside of radish leaves because they're so tender they break off. So the bugs get free rein. This plant has to be shaded, and I've got a plan involving that bean and possibly 2 sword beans down the back. It's got to be shaded from the midsummer heat. And I had planted some sword bean seeds, but they haven't come up yet. It's been a while. I will have to start some in a cup of water. That's a rouge. Now that's a happy tomato. Oh. As I was saying before the camera overheated, this is what a happy Rouge de Mammon tomato plant looks like. I didn't expect that many of these seeds to come up. I put too many in a very small area. There's 15 or 20 plants. But hey, it's going to be pretty. I misled you last month, sorry. I'd actually put some small choy, some kind of Chinese cabbage in here. And then when I went through and thought, I must have put radish in, and I planted some radish seeds where they hadn't come up. So, yes. We'll see how that goes. Cherokee purple's looking good. Ooh, it's got a shoot down the bottom I might trim back. I'm probably going to 2-stem that. But we'll see. That's supposed to be a fantastic one. I've had a little bit of an issue with some of the leeks. Silver beet, chard, rainbow chard. I had these come up beautifully and they started to grow, and those guys got eaten off, and so did one of the other two over the far side. So I protected the survivor and replanted the deceased. Well, that's not very good. That would be Nigella. Yeah, the problem with the leeks is that something was coming along, cutting off leaves. And doing them some damage low down. I mean, this one here, okay, I didn't know that that was fully off. So I think the cutworm are having a go at it, but the leeks are so robust. This one actually looks like, yeah, mostly cut off. I think the leeks are going to outperform. Now the asparagus, I'm probably going to put in its own bed, maybe up that back section somewhere, because it's probably not a sensible place to put it. But when it goes dormant, I will remove the 3 purple and the, somewhere in here is a normal asparagus plants, and relocate them. Let's see, we've got the pineapple. That's one of those that I will try and possibly throw out. I can't remember what type of carrots they are, but I'm optimistic that maybe I'll be able to grow some round ones or short fat ones. Many more leeks. These guys are going to have to die off soon, the shallot onions. I harvested 9 rows of potatoes. The tent peg there is indicating a row of Kennebec that I left. They've just started to break the surface of the ground, 2 of them. I thought they would have rotted. They weren't advanced enough when I planted them, I would say. And I have a few rows, 1, 2, 3 more rows to go. 3 rows of hagfish potatoes yielded 2.7 kilos of spuds. 2 rows of Desiree, the red ones, 3.55 kilos. That's 3 seed potatoes per row throughout the beds. The second harvest, 2 rows of hagfish were 2.43 kilos, so much improved, and the 1 row of Desiree, 1.07 kilos. I had some problems when I was visited by Australasian potato vultures, but it was nothing that really interfered with the harvest too much. So I got 9.75 kilos of potatoes off 9 rows of spuds for 27 seed potatoes planted. I don't know if that's good or not. Ooh, I hadn't noticed that. We've got a flower head coming. Well, it's an odd looking flower head. I assume it's a flower head. Looks like a mini plant. That's interesting. Oh, yes, they did not come up the dwarf whatchamacallits. This is a sow thistle. I've been regularly pruning some pieces off to go with the chook's daily herbage. It just came up. I'm fine with it. I whacked some more daikon radish in here, and for some reason they're not happy. They're quite yellow, some of them. So I don't know what to do about unhappy radish. Again, that's a fairly happy rouge de Marmande. I had to replant a fair few of these peanuts. I think they got eaten. Cutworm probably. Yes, lots of leeks in around the place. Not the happiest, not unhappy rouge. See, that's what I want from a clump of nigella, blue flower and nigella. That's going to be great. Andes nuts, all 5 have trucked on and have ignored any attempts by cutworms to bite them off. So that's good. I need to put some more winged bean seeds in. I've lost 2 plants there. This is the other silver beet that I protected and planted inside protection. That's some more cosmos freshly coming up. I'm going to regularly plant cosmos throughout the season, random places throughout there's one there, and there, just to help attract a nest of pollinators, and because, you know, it's kind of cute. Patterson's curse has come up. I'm going to have to dig that out. This is a failed calendula. I think most of my calendula are doing quite well, but some of them, but that one isn't. I thought, yeah, there it is. I numbered them 1 to 5 so I could help identify them. Now, these are black-seeded sunflowers, not the confectioner's sunflower with the stripes. And I had a terrible success rate of 1. Then I went and I put 10 seeds in each hole or more, minimum of 10. And I got a few more up. So what I've done is I've ordered some seed. Not that many, but I might put them in there at the back. That way, and if I put some grains toward the front when these potatoes come out, I probably have to net most of the bed, because you can't grow sunflowers around here without getting attacked by cockatoos. The wheat has not come up. I put in some daikon just because I'm putting in lots of daikon, and the dryland rice hasn't come up. Maybe I should sprout some seeds in water and try that, and maybe I should get some more wheat because that was getting pretty old. Okay. Well, that's about it for now. I think that's my quickest walkthrough yet. I hope you liked it. Stick around, there'll be another one in a month. Have a good one, folks.